Wow. Dillian Whyte, days after being knocked out, is saying he wants an immediate rematch in about 2 months. We're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Use my affiliate link below. It does help the channel continue to grow. Become a channel member. Join the Patreon. Got some fun stuff coming. We're doing different things. ESPN Plus. There's some UFC fights and whatnot coming up. So it's a good time. Now, Dillian Whyte went viral for the wrong reasons over the weekend. He was in a competitive fight with Alexander Povetkin. It was the end of the Fight Camp series, and it ended pretty much disastrous for Eddie Hearn and the former number one mandatory Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte was brutally knocked out after it looked like the fight was going his way, and he scored 2 knockdowns over Alexander Povetkin. Now, days later, he's saying he wants a rematch. I'll play the clip for you guys and then give some more of my thoughts.
I everyone to say that you guys know I'm safe, I'm sound, and I'm good. Firstly, congratulations to Alexander Povetkin, a great fight. I look forward to doing it again. And yeah, I'm good. Safe, thanks for all the nice messages and stuff. It's heavyweight boxing, it happens. You fight good fighters, you win some, you lose some. You will get stopped, you will get knocked out, you will get dropped. You know, as you can see, happened to multiple fighters. I don't think only all happened to. So yeah, I'm all good. I'm ready for the rematch. Hopefully, God willing, we can get the rematch done for November, December time. Let's go, ready. You know, I spoke to Eddie this morning and he's on it.
Wow. He said he spoke to Eddie and he's on it. Listen, first of all, Eddie Hearn, how often, people rejoice at Eddie Hearn as a promoter and say like, oh, he's getting it done and stuff. But Eddie Hearn keeps having fighters in these high profile situations. And there's so many things when it all falls, when all the cards are laid out and this is the final sequence. In hindsight, you hear everything that I said beforehand and you look back and you're like, man, Ego was right. Dillian Whyte should have took these fights in this fight, like Luis Ortiz or Dominic Brazil, because if he would have lost to those guys, I think it would have been viewed as a little bit different than losing to Povetkin. In my opinion, Povetkin lost his last fight to Michael Hunter, even though they officially ruled it a draw. And Eddie Hearn just keeps putting these fighters in high profile situations. And it's like, who's in, I don't know. It's looking sketch for the UK. The UK boxing scene is looking sketch. I'm just being real. It's like, who's looking after these guys? Like in America, I don't know how they're doing in the UK. When you get knocked out like this, you should rest, spend time with your family, regroup, you know, see what you need to do, and just overall relax. You really should take 8 months to a year off. Once again, another rematch room fighter, and days later, he's already screaming rematch. And I understand the fighter heart and mentality, but just like in an actual fight, when a fighter's losing and they're not going to quit. Like, let's say, for example, David Benavidez versus Romer Angulo. There was no quit in his opponent, Angulo. Angulo was kept trucking, but he was getting beat to a pulp, and David Benavidez was just teeing off on him. So at some point, you got to save the fighter. And I'm wondering what's good with the UK, because Joshua, you know, he lost to Andy Ruiz last year. High pressure situation, do or die. He needed to beat Ruiz to get the belts back. Eddie Hearn, he seems like a spoiled kid, and I know he came from money in his dad and all that, and matchroom backyard fights, and I get that. And he has his own toy, but he has that demeanor of like a spoiled kid. Like, my toy breaks and my parents are just gonna buy me another one because I broke it. You know what I mean? And these are fighters in their careers and lifestyle. To me, in America, if you take a knockout like that, you should rest. And not only should you rest, the sanctioning bodies out here will actually ensure that you're not taking any fights, because you'll be suspended for about 90 days. You look at UFC, when guys get knocked out like that, like Darren Till when Jorge Masvidal knocked him out, they get suspended. Boxing, same way, they get suspended for a 90-day period, because you have to understand how the human brain works. And if you get you're not meant to take blunt force trauma. That's just a known fact. So when you take concussive blows to the head, you're more likely to have potential permanent damage and serious problems. That's why they do CAT scans and stuff when you repeatedly get bludgeoned. This man, I understand, again, the fighter heart. He's saying I could beat him because he was doing well. But all of that was erased and equalized when Povetkin made the slickest of moves, jab, shifted to the side, came up low, or acted like he was going to come low, and shot that uppie up the middle. Bow, perfectly landed shot, didn't see it coming. So Dillian Whyte, again, I understand the fighter mentality. He's saying, I know I could beat this guy, but you don't know that you could beat him. You know why? Because you didn't beat him. And then Eddie Hearn, like I said, his toys break, just buy a new one. But this is Dillian Whyte's career, Joshua's career. Same thing happened with Kell Brook. Nobody told Kell Brook they wanted to see him fight top welterweights. Eddie Hearn couldn't make the Triple G fight with Chris Eubank Jr., so he called Kell Brook and put that on him. And Kell Brook was saying that, I'll take it. So basically. And then Kell Brook, his career has been shot ever since. It hasn't been the same because he had an orbital damage. Then his next fight, he fought Errol Spence, and the rest is history. This is just a bad look, bro. And it's like somebody got to, put the dog on the leash and tell him it's okay, and especially a guy like Dillian Whyte. He didn't have like the real belt. Like Joshua, I understand you don't want PBC to get the belts, things like that, because Joshua had the belts. But Dillian Whyte, we're doing all this for a WBC mandatory spot. That, as soon as that uppercut landed, that's off. He's no longer the mandatory. There's no need for the 1,000 days and this and that. We don't have to hear about any of that anymore. And instead of giving your fighter time to regroup and progress and maybe grow from this, they talking about, I just talked to Eddie, we're going to do the rematch in 2 months. Like, whatever. So if Dillian Whyte, if he's going to be another David Price if he does not win this fight, in the grand scheme of, you can't say, I'm a better fighter, 1,000,000% I could beat this guy. And then if this 41-year-old, he'll be 41 by the time they rematch. His birthday's next month. If Sasha Povetkin come out and do this again, then you hurt yourself more. And Dillian's in the comment section talking about, let's go, baby, let's go. And the other thing is, you shouldn't make decisions when you're emotional. Everything is fresh. Everything just happened. I don't like this behavior, and the UK is supporting this, and they supporting this. If you really cared about Dillian Whyte, like the UK claims, we want to see him get a shot, he's been waiting 1,000 days. If you really felt that way, then somebody would get in this man's ear and say, it's okay. What's done is done. You've been knocked out. Figure out your trainer situation. Because he said he was training in Portugal. Who does this? Who, for the most important fight, you go to Portugal and switch trainers, you know what I mean? And you can't get proper sparring. Then Eddie has you in the Winnebago. Then you get knocked out. And now they talking about let's run it back in two months. That's not even enough time to properly rest and acclimate. So to me, this is just weird behavior from the people who allegedly care about Dillian Whyte to suggest that he take this fight. All this for a mandatory position. So like I said, now Dillian Whyte, good luck. It's a do or die fight. And Eddie Hearn fighters keep finding themselves in these high pressure situations, these David Price situations where it's like, if you don't win, it's curtains. You could continue fighting, but you'll never be regarded at the level of what you were supposed to be before that, because this is how boxing fans work. And I feel like this is deeper than just the fighter. It's for like the belt. And, this was just a horrible look for Eddie Hearn, DAZN, and Rematch Room. They put all this, look, they doing graphics, 1,000 days and the mandatory. So Eddie Hearn, being a true narcissist, he can't fathom or can't take the fact that it didn't work. He tried to play God. He tried to cherry pick Povetkin, thinking that Whyte had advanced or progressed enough where he should get this 40-year-old out of here. And then it didn't play out. So Eddie Hearn's like, nah, let's do it again. We got to do it again. Because Eddie Hearn's not the one taking these punches. So, it's no wonder why Al Heyman is so loved by his fighters. Because as an advisor, he doesn't have to get involved in that. And he seems like he genuinely cares about his fighters, Charlo and Errol Spence and steering them in directions that are advantageous to what they're doing. Dillian Whyte, he just got brutally, viciously knocked out. This is like knockout of the year. Who does this? And then you have Tony Bellew, who's the UK is just looking very peculiar right now. Tony Bellew came out and said Dillian Whyte will be a champion again. This is a blip and all this stuff like that. And he should get a title shot. Why is the UK talking about Dillian Whyte getting a title shot and he was just knocked out viciously? Sky Sports is going around. I made a video about it. Check that on the channel. New media, right? They're going around blocking the video so no one can see it, but it doesn't erase it from our memory. And Tony Bellew, like I said, he's going around saying that he needs a title shot still. He just got knocked out. That's like the knockout looks similar to Canelo knocking out Amir Khan. That's like saying Amir Khan, when he goes back down to welterweight because he was fighting Canelo at Canelo weight, that's like saying he needs a title shot with Errol Spence or Pacquiao. Where is the UK? The UK boxing like voices, you know, the commentators, they sound deluded and delusional. You know, no one would ask for Amir Khan to get an immediate title shot right after Canelo knocked him out with a single shot. But yet and still, the UK is doing this for Dillian Whyte. They're saying he needs a title shot. He was going to get a title shot, and then he came up short. Both times he stepped up against the more elite names, Anthony Joshua and Povetkin, he came up short and was stopped. And then he stepped up with Joseph Parker. I guess you could say he's an elite name from being a former champion, and he was almost stopped in the 12th round of that. He had 2 knockdowns, just like he knocked down Povetkin, but he was also almost stopped and badly hurt in the final round, and then there was no more rounds after that. So it's like they keep placing Dillian Whyte at this like precipice, and he hasn't really showed. He showed that he's a solid fighter, a good fighter, you know, a mouthy fighter, but he hasn't showed top levelness, you know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality of it. Every time he stepped up, he lost. And they're still pushing for that. But beyond that, the crazier thing is they're not even letting this man rest. And Dillian Whyte, if he sees the video, he might get mad. Like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But I'm actually looking out for you. Your people, your own people. This is what happens when you have yes men around. And then if it don't play out for you with Povetkin in the rematch, and you go in that, how are you affording yourself the best fighting chance? How much time do you have to even learn in 2 months? Especially when some of it is probably getting in fight shape, where you're just losing weight and stuff. You just switch trainers. What, are you gonna go back to your old trainer? You know what I'm saying? You're going to learn someone else's new system. And they try to, and Dillian Whyte, and I'll talk about this more. I'm going to do another video, so this one's not too long. But Dillian Whyte's in between styles. When he first came out, he was a slugger, and he was more wild and aggressive. They tried to calm that down. But he actually should have used a bit more of that against a 40-year-old. So his ring IQ at the higher level, to be honest, I don't know that it's quite there. He was still learning on the job. They said he only had a few amateur fights, and it showed up because he got laced up and set up by Povetkin. And the way he fought Povetkin, he fought a measured approach, and it was working. But that's also a better pace for the 40-year-old Povetkin. He slowed down a little bit. He's been through wars. You should make the older fighter feel every bit their age. But whatever, we'll see how it plays out. Dillian wants to rematch in 2 months. We'll see how it turns out. But Eddie Hearn keeps finding his fighters in the same exact situation. Joshua Ruiz, Kell Brook must win versus Errol Spence because he should have never went up and fought Triple G. Now Dillian Whyte. And I know there's other people, but Katie Taylor versus Delphine Persoon. But luckily for her, he ducked the immediate rematch for her and then gave it to her after Delphine Persoon had pneumonia and lost the amateur fight and kidney stones. Sad. Let me know what you guys think of, is it advisable that Dillian Whyte take an immediate rematch and not give himself any time to rest after a brutal knockout? Let me know in the comment section. We working. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm rich." And Manny Pacquiao, "Yes, it's up to my promoter." Just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.